What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I want to talk about what's going on with the overall market and break down something very important involving NIO. I want to talk about some big news that came out that had a very negative effect on NIO, and all of this could affect the market as well going into tomorrow. But before I break anything down about what the charts are suggesting for the markets, what you should be watching for as time goes on, and etc., let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Looking at NIO, guys, we have some bad news that came out. NIO has started to turn back down. It managed to start gapping down just a bit. It was holding up quite nicely in the beginning of the day. Then we just saw NIO collapse and start crashing alongside the whole market. Remember, it wasn't just NIO. SPY ended up dropping 1.39%. Tesla is down 4%. Lots of companies affiliated with China are down quite a bit. If you look at anything else, IWM is down quite a bit. Apple's down, QQQ down, Nvidia, the list goes on. The whole market ended up taking a big hit after some news came out, not to mention other factors. We have algorithms, we have market makers playing a role in this, and also some other things. So, what's going on with the markets? Let's just first talk about this. An hour before the market opens, we have the GDP numbers coming out. We have the GDP growth rate quarter over quarter, and we have initial jobless claims. Some very important data is coming out an hour before market open. Then at 11:30 a.m., excuse me, we have the 4-week bill auction and the 8-week bill auctions coming out. And that's pretty much it for data, but the most important data is coming out an hour before the market opens. We'll see how this affects the markets. Now, look at the markets. The fear and greed index was just at extreme greed. And once we hit extreme greed, now we're starting to see the market turn. It's very interesting how this panned out. What's affecting Chinese tickers is this news right here. Xi, the president, or whatever you want to call him from China, has warned President Joe Biden during the summit that Beijing will reunify Taiwan with China. This was some negative news. This had a very negative effect on many companies affiliated with China. And it's very sad, and this is having a very bad effect on NIO, unfortunately. This is not great news whatsoever, and this is leading to more global tensions. So you just want to be very careful. On top of all of this, I just want to mention that with this negative news that has come out, from a technical standpoint, the whole market started turning. NIO's sustainable fashion brand won the first Design Awards Chinese Product Design of the year 2023. China is the new regional edition of Design Awards to celebrate the best architecture, interiors, and design projects. So good news for them. But besides that, we have some other pieces of news. I already went over the majority of the good news yesterday, so I'm not going to repeat the same things. If you want more details about some news about NIO, you can look at my video from yesterday. But WeLion reportedly expects NIO to send 150 kilowatt solid state batteries at volume in Q2 of 2024, which is some good news for them. Now, this is good news, as once again, this is coming from their manufacturers, and they're sharing some insight on when consumers could expect to see the technology roll out in mass quantities. That's good news for them. This is going to be key for NIO, and it's going to be key for their battery swapping sector and things like that. On top of this, they're hoping that they to change that with the ET7. They're going to be introducing better battery packs. We even saw William Lee Bin drive one for a very, very long period of time. It just goes to show how capable they are, and that's very, very great news for them. So earlier this week, William Lee Bin, the CEO of NIO, he drove an ET7 equipped with the solid state battery from WeLion, with the range, excuse me, with a range of about 1,044 kilometers or 650 miles, which is once again very, very great news. He did that with just 3% of the battery remaining. So it just goes to show how powerful they are and how much you can drive with them. That is great news, in my opinion. NIO had 105 million in volume. Average volume was about 60 million, so that's good news for them. On top of that, Mizuho has a buy rating. Everything else is looking quite decent. The price-price ratio is down just a bit, but overall it's not looking too bad. On top of all of this, I just want to mention that NIO has a tendency of being green only about 50% of the time on Thursdays. Historical data doesn't really affect it. But unfortunately, with this bad news that came out involving China, the US, and Taiwan, that's just one factor. There are also technicals that played a role. The market was due for some kind of pullback. Manipulation from market makers and algorithms all played a role in causing this to happen. It wasn't solely just like one piece of news and that's it. But with that coming out, NIO is down 10%. Big, big, big drop. Watch the 4-hour 200 EMA. Let's see if NIO can kind of rebound from here back into the 8s. But if anything, it looks bearish on the 4-hour. So it might rebound a little bit, retest 8 points too, then just continue lower. And we could see NIO start sinking back down into these lower levels again. So it's very unfortunate, guys. We were just on a roll. NIO was getting ready to just continue to go. And unfortunately, some bad news has come out that affected NIO. Not to mention, technicals playing somewhat of a role. On SPY, we're just barely holding 467. I think it's going to rebound a little bit tomorrow, trying to test 469 or so, but it might fail as the day goes on. If it loses 467, which I think is going to happen, so it might pop and then drop, I think it's going to be sinking down for 465 and then eventually even lower levels into the low 460s. We're starting to turn here. We got a bearish divergence, very, very bearish looking daily candlestick. I could see some more potential downside. As far as Tesla goes, I think there's going to be an attempt for it to try to bounce off the 4-hour 50 EMA. Could be making its way back up to this 250 area, but we're going to be watching to see if Tesla rejects at a lower high. So if we reject off like 250 or 252, then we could just continue lower as time goes on. We have this bearish divergence developed on Tesla's charts. It's not looking the strongest, and that's pretty much it, at least for the time being. For the IWM, this is down about 2%. On the 4-hour time frame, I think it's going to be approaching this 193 area. We have a gap to fill in that area, so it's looking a bit more bearish. On the QQQ, we're also looking a bit more bearish as well. This has attempted to rebound, so I think it could be backtesting like 404 to 405, then just reject. It looks a little bearish now on the 4-hour time frame. It looks like it's going to turn. It's going to rebound a bit, but I think it could slowly make its way down to 402. Nvidia is looking kind of weak. Got a big drop today, big rejection. We haven't really reached our target yet. So I think it could rebound, retest 485, then reject, and make its way down to 482 again, eventually back down to 478 and 475. That's it for the main ones, except for Aapl. Let me just mention Aapl. I have it right here. Apple's not looking that good. It actually closed below 195. Not a good sign. It is trying to rebound off the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. We could see a backtest of like 196 and a rejection, but this chart looks like it's going to be sinking even lower towards 192.5 eventually. Apple looks kind of weak to me. You could also argue that we have like a slanted head and shoulders like structure, which could lead to a bit more downside. So just be a little careful, guys. I think it's going to rebound and drop. I think that this is going to have a negative effect on NIO. NIO could attempt to get back up to 8.2, then reject, and eventually sell off more. Technicals look like they're turning. Looks like there's a big pivot, and the geopolitical issues are outside of NIO's control. I know, guys, we were hoping this thing would bounce and do well, but unfortunately, we got some bad news. NIO is not at fault for that. It's not NIO's fault that this stuff is happening with politics and etc. How is this NIO's fault? If anything, all the news that came out for NIO was bullish when it comes to their solid state battery, the Abu Dhabi investment. The list goes on. So the bullish news kept coming out for NIO. It's just that there were external factors that affected it, and it wasn't even NIO's fault. So with that being said, it looks bearish to me. It might pop a little bit, then continue lower. Going to be watching it try to retest 8.2, then just start dropping back down to like 7.7. It's unfortunate, guys, but I'm just going to be honest with you. That's what it's looking like. We have a very bearish looking daily candlestick. We're turning on the MACD now, and this bad news could continue to affect it for quite a while. Once again, guys, it's not NIO's fault, but all I could really do is just be unbiased and tell you the truth. This will still negatively affect NIO's share price. The market is also playing a big role in this, so it's all these different factors from algorithms, market makers, the whole market, and this news involving China. I'm sorry, guys, but it is what it is. We have to accept reality, and this is just more opportunity. We could still day trade this, and there's still going to be more opportunities to buy shares for lower prices, non-financial advice. All right, that's it for this one. Have a good day, guys, and peace out.